Hi everybody, this is Father Warner D'Souza. Today I want to reflect with you on the Gospel of Luke, and we're looking at chapter 6 verses 27 to 38. The reading of today is a continuation of the Sermon on the Plain, which is so called because some of the sayings of Jesus, also found in the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew's Gospel, is now found here. What is most definitely different from Matthew's Gospel is the setting. Jesus does not deliver the Sermon on the Mount, but has come down with them to a level place. We read this in chapter 6, verse 17, and hence is called the Sermon on the Plain. One needs to keep in mind that when Luke writes the Gospel, his perspective of an all-inclusive Jesus shines forth constantly, and within this perspective are special focus groups like the poor. Jesus proclaimed that membership in the poor of God was not restricted to an exclusive group. For Luke, those who accept and confess that God's kingdom is brought about by Jesus on behalf of the poor of God, or the anavim, the Hebrew word for poor, are now members of the kingdom. It is for this reason that today's gospel begins with the words, "But I say to you that who listen." It is to the would-be disciples who are willing to listen that these words are addressed. It is these disciples who will face persecution as a consequence of their choice to stand with Jesus and his kingdom. The response of the disciple must be radical, so that those who see the disciples' response of love in the face of violence are left amazed. Being slapped in the face or stripped naked flies in the face of the natural human tendency to place self-protection first. It is for this reason that Luke introduces the theme of love of enemies here, and the same theme will pervade this gospel in several stories dealing with the Samaritans, who were the enemies of the Jews. This radical demand to love one's enemies includes sharing one's possessions with them, for Jesus says, "Give to everyone who begs from you, and do not demand back from the person who takes them." With this in mind, Luke brings in the golden rule as the jewel in the crown to this teaching on love of enemies. The disciples are to do to others as they would love others to do unto them. This mandate required the disciple to act first, love first, forgive first, without the hope of expecting anything in return. For Luke, only when one does good, even though one has not been given anything, and only when one expects nothing in return, does one get quite unexpectedly not only thanks, but also a reward from God. As God stands to the needy world with a gracious gift of salvation, so the disciple should stand to the poor of society in generous open-mindedness and open-handedness. Thank you for being part of today's gospel reflection. As I always say, if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, what are you really waiting for? And don't forget each day to share God's good news with all your friends. Be an evangelizer today for Jesus. God bless you. God loves you.